Okay, this is the tutorial for developing applications in Qt. We're going to be developing a simple timer, and you're going to need a few software packages before you begin. First of all, you're going to need the Qt runtime libraries. You need the Qt development libraries, which are the end in -dev. And then you're going to need QT4 Designer and QDevelop. And you can get them through the software package management system. This is Kubuntu 9.04, 64-bit edition. It's free and it's awesome. So to begin, you need to start up QDevelop. You're going to go to Project, New Project. You're going to need to make sure you select Application with Main Window and Release Version. And you're going to want to name the project like Qt Timer, or something along those lines. And before we get into coding, we need to design the graphical piece, which is fairly easy. So just double click on that and wait while Qt Designer loads. Well, it's now loaded, so we're happy. You need to remove the menu bar. You're going to need to remove the status bar. You're going to need 3 LCD numbers, which are available over here under Display Widgets. You need 3 push buttons, one for start and one for start, one for stop, and one for reset. They're right here somewhere. Let's see here. Okay, push. Oh, it was minimized. That's funny. You need 3 of them. Okay. Okay. Now that we have all 3 of our things that we need to start organizing them. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make them where they are organized. So you need to select all 3 of the LCD numbers and hit this button. And hit this this button, layout vertically. It's 3 bars standing right beside each other. Click that, and anytime you resize it, they all stick together. You want to make it fairly big so we can read them. I'm going to bring that up into the corner. Now you're going to want to stack 3 push buttons on top of each other. You want to select them all. You want to hit the second button, which is stack widgets vertically, which is 3 bars on top of each other. Click those and bring them under the LCDs. Hold on, let's see if I can get this here. Okay, now select all of it and hit Layout Widgets in a Grid. It's going to be like this, all pretty. You want to stretch it to a readable size. You want to resize your window just because, but it looks more neat. That's mostly design window. Now that's the designing part. Now we need to edit the widgets, like their properties. So like click off and only select the have nothing selected. Go to Property Editor and rename the window to Qt Timer. And that's for that. Then you're going to want to click on. Okay, well, sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit. Okay, you're going to be needing to use the Property Editor, which is either on the left side of the screen. It's on the right side of the screen. If it's on the left, you can move it to. If it's on the right, you can move it to the left. If it's on the left, you can move it to the right. Your choice. Just then, when you're done with the window, click on one of the LCD panels and rename it to the first LCD panel. Rename it to LCD Hours, so it will display hours. Sorry. And before you switch over, you're going to need to change the amount of decimal places down to 2. Then you're going to do that for all of them. Switch it all to 2. And then, okay, so the first one needs to be named LCD Hours. The second one needs to be named LCD Minutes. And the third one needs to be named LCD Seconds. Okay, those are for those. Then you're going to come here to push button, the first top push button. You're going to rename that BT Start. You're going to come down here, you're going to change its text to Start. timer. You're going to come down to the second one and rename it BT, lowercase, stop. Come down. You're going to rename the text to stop timer. And come to push the third one down. It's going to be rename it to BT, reset. And you're going to want to redo the text to reset timer. Okay, that concludes the window making portion. You can also select an icon if you wish. It needs to be a PNG image or any real image whatsoever. So just make sure nothing's selected. Go down here to window icon and click on the layer and go to choose file. For me, I have a file under Qt resources. I like this little icon for it. Then when you're done, make sure to click save because you don't want to lose your work, and then close out of Qt Designer. And that's the graphical part. All your graphics are designed. Okay, when you exit Qt Designer, it is now time to work on the code. You need to open two files. One is mainwindowImplementation.h and one is mainwindowImplementation.cpp, which is C++. So open both of those files by clicking on them. And we're going to be working with mainwindowImplementation.h first. Okay, this is a language called C++. It's the main language used behind Qt. And it's what's called object-oriented, so everything is oriented into objects, or classes. Now, all the functions and variables are contained inside this class declaration. So, we have to define some variables, and we have to define some functions. So, Qt is organized into a system called signals and slots. A signal is something happening, like say a button, somebody clicking a button, or somebody entering something into a text box. And a slot is something that can happen, like, okay, well, if somebody clicks that button, what happens? What happens is the slot. Okay, so we need to first add in variables. And one of the things that we're going to need, one of the variables is not a C++ specific, so we have to include it in the program. We have to do this up here, include QTimer. This won't be there, I have defaultly inputted, but you need to add that in. Include QTimer. Now, we're going to need to specify some variables. The first one is a QTimer, which is the heart of our program. You need to do a pointer to an object, timer. Okay, so what that does is it fires a signal at a specified rate, and when so you set it up like that. And the next variable we need is for our seconds. The next variable we need is for our minutes. The next variable we need is for our hours. And that's done for variables. And slots, what happens? So, when timer times out, when it fires every second, it will fire, we're going to make it fire something called count. When count fires, it will increment seconds by 1, and if seconds is 60, it'll increment minutes by 1. If minutes is 60, increment hours. Since there's only 2 digits on the LCD display, when hours reaches 99, it resets to 0. Then we also need something to start our program. Also need one to stop our timer.